I actually am the voice actress of Zoom. So that was me. Yes, yeah, that was me. That was me.
Exciting.
Hello, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast that you liked, subscribed, and you five-starred it on Spotify and Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. Welcome back to Scientifically Speaking. Today's guest is probably one of the reasons why I continued doing research after undergrad. Today's guest is literally the lab goddess from my undergraduate research lab. Like I said, I wasn't lying. I wasn't lying, Nikki. Oh, let me say your name
Oh,
too. I just said, I just today's guest is a lab goddess known as Nikki Donlin from my undergraduate research lab. There, that's what I was trying to say. Good morning. How are you?
love it, love it. Good morning. It's so good to see you. I'm so excited. It's been a long time. You're busy, and I'm just busy being, a crazy cat lady. So, it's a lot of
Oh,
busyness.
I
Yeah.
miss your cat source. Also, I mean, to be fair, you were getting ready, helping out the lab for SFN.
Yes, SFN is this coming weekend. So, yeah, big things, lots of nissel staining, lots of, trying to get
Mm.
people ready out the door. Good times.
When I was an undergrad, I feel like every other undergrad can relate. There are a lot of things in the lab that, like, a lot of experiments that were going on that I just did not understand. And I think, I was just too busy. I say too busy, quote unquote, too busy. Looking back, I wasn't that busy compared to now. But I just didn't understand a lot of the other projects that were going on. And I didn't bother to even like,
Right.
and so I'm sure back then, if you asked me like, oh yeah, this person's doing nissel staining, I would have been like, what the fuck is a nissel staining? But now I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand.
Oh my God. I have to, okay, sorry, got to interrupt, got to let you know. One of my dearest friends in, where I live, she just bought me tickets to see Alaska for my birthday. And I'm
Alaska
super
Thunderfuck.
excited.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I've seen her once at, I don't know, whatever, whatever. I've seen
Yeah.
her at a Pride performance before. And so I'm, super excited to see her at like an actual venue now.
Yes.
And
Is
like,
this at
it's so excited. We're going to get matching outfits and it's just going to be phenomenal.
you have to send me a picture. Is this at Oil Can Harry's
Definitely.
or
No, it's
some
actually at 310. Now, I
Ooh.
have a question. Okay, were you the undergrad that tried to go see one of the Rue Queens with me at Oil Cans, but you were underage and we got turned away? I'm trying to remember which undergrad that was.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Could
Because
it
I
been
didn't
you?
Yeah, it was me. It was me. I forgot who we were trying to
Okay.
see.
Was it
This was
Sharon Needles?
probably I want to say this was back in
Mm,
2015 when I was
okay,
what I think 20, 19, 20, and
maybe.
you have to be
Okay.
20, 21 to enter
Yeah,
Oaken Harry's.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we
And I don't think
did.
we realized that.
Yeah, and uh but we learned from that moment, and then years later, once I turned 21, we went to go see Bob the Drag Queen, and
Yes.
we saw Cynthia Lee Fontaine at Oil Can. Do you remember that?
Yes, yes. Oh, yes. I love her. Love her. I hear she's had like hip surgery recently. Hope she's doing well. So,
Yeah, and she had a battle with cancer and she won, and she's just
yes.
been
Yep.
super healthy. And everyone who's listening, I always say that, which is so dumb because obviously people are listening, like, of course. But how Cynthia Lee Fontaine is on TV, like her generosity, her like kindness, it's true in person. Like she is not fake.
Oh,
She doesn't say the cuckoo stuff in
right
person,
on.
but she does. She is really nice. I would say that she's probably nicer in person than she is on TV. She's already nice on TV, so that just goes to show how like really nice she is, you know?
Exactly.
Fun fact, I'm sure you know this. You were the reason why I got into drag.
Oh my God. Man, that was, so much fun.
That was a
So much
fun
fun.
time.
That was insane the night you did your debut at Maria's Taco.
Do you remember how why that
Tears.
happened?
Tears. I do remember because poor Cupcake did not show up that night.
Wait, is it Cupcake or is it Lady Grackle?
It was Cupcake. Lady
Oh,
Grackle used to do bingo at Gordo's when I think when you were in the lab, you would
Yeah.
see them at Gordo's, Cupcake and Grackle,
Hmm.
and then at Maria's, it was Cupcake and Maeve.
Oh, oh, I've been lying. I've been lying to everyone this entire time. I thought it was, what's
Oh,
her name? Maven? Maven, right?
Maeve. Yeah, yep,
Is it
Maeve.
Maeve?
I call her Maeve, but maybe she goes by Maven.
No, no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
sure. We'd
I'm
have to
thinking
check
I'm
later.
getting her mixed up with someone. Her name is Maeve. Her name is Maeve, and we're
Okay.
friends on Facebook. Maeve
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
I thought it was Lady Grackle, and so I've been telling everyone, oh, Lady Grackle was in jail, was in prison.
No, no, it was
No.
not Lady Grackle. It was Cupcake, allegedly maybe having some legal issues. We'll
Ooh,
say
okay.
allegedly. It was Cupcake.
Gotcha, gotcha. And
Oh,
then
sorry.
Maeve was there by herself, and I just happened to
Yes,
be
yep.
in drag that
Yep.
day.
I think we'd gone to Sephora that day
Yep, yep,
and
yep,
then,
yep.
just like had a whole, fun time before bingo and
I was so
yeah.
busted looking back then, like looking back at the moment, I was so busted because my outfit was like a hand-me-down from my cousin, and the dress that she
Oh,
gave me was like slightly bigger than me, so it was like already loose, and I didn't even bother to like hem or like pin it or anything. So it was already a loose dress. And we went there with the whole lab. This was like a lab Tuesday dinner, right?
yep,
Uh
yep. Bingo is always on
the
Tuesdays,
first
and like some
Tuesdays
of
of
my
every
other
month.
non-lab friends. Yep, yep. And
I
that was just
remember.
so good. And even some of my non-lab friends would come. Like I bet
I
you maybe
Adam.
remember Jenny, Adam, of course, Adam, of
I remember,
course,
of
attached at my
course.
hip. So he doesn't live in this area anymore. So
Where did he
I know
move?
I he's now I think on the East Coast, doing well, living life, but miss him terribly. We were, attached at the hip. He was one of my big buddies to just, go anywhere, indie rock show, he's there. Bingo.
After I performed at Bingo and I performed to And I Am Telling You, specifically by Jennifer Holiday, not Hudson. And then
Yes,
after
yes.
the you
And then
posted,
your wig
yeah,
flip. Do you remember the wig? Oh my
the
God.
wig
The
flip.
crowd went wild.
I think
Oh,
the
that was
whole lab
just
thought that was planned. Do you remember that?
I think some of them did, yeah. And some of us in the know that we
Yeah.
didn't have the bobby pins ready.
Yes. And so I think you posted me on your Snapchat story, and then one of your drag queen friends messaged you and said, oh, there's a competition tonight. And
Yep, yep. And
afterwards,
then we went to oil cans or rain. I can't remember
it
which
was
one it
rain.
was.
It was rain.
Okay, it was rain. Okay, got it. Got it.
And then we
Love
went
it.
to Walgreens right after Maria's
Yeah,
Tacos.
which was right by Maria's. Yep, exactly. Same parking lot. Just had to walk over.
And then we bought bobby pins.
Yep,
You want
yep.
to hear something
Yes,
funny?
yes.
I still, dead ass, still have those bobby pins. I still have the package. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's
That's like a
so
little memory.
It really is. And every time I use it, I use it now more so like every time I like wash my face at night. I'm one of those
Right on.
people who shower in the morning. I know. I used to be a person. I know. I know.
No, no. I accept either one. You know what I mean?
So you're
You just have
versed.
to do what's right. Yeah, I am versed actually.
Oh.
Yes, I am versed. Sometimes multiple times in a day I can handle it too. So yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I'll take it whenever it's offered. So
And so at night, like when I'm washing my face, I'll use the bobby pins to like hold my hair up, so it
yeah,
doesn't get my face. So
exactly.
yeah, I'm a cheap queen. I don't like throwing things away. I'm
Yeah,
still gonna reuse my bobby pins that I got back in 2016.
exactly. Keep it for your dementia diary. I don't know if you have dementia in your family. I
Yeah.
do. So I like to try and keep things like, oh, maybe this will spark a memory when
Uh,
I'm, in my Alzheimer's state or whatever.
oh gosh, Nikki, I miss you so much.
We had so much fun.
Now, do you remember the last time we talked? I think this was back in 2018. I was
Okay.
visiting campus, undergraduate campus, and then I was like, I gotta stop by lab, of course. And then we met in person for a
Yeah,
brief
yeah.
moment. And then I was like, oh, you have to listen to this podcast called Inside the Closet. Do you remember with Mateo Lane and Emma Woman? I think. Anyway,
Yes, I remember. I don't think I ever watched or listened though. I suck. I
canceled.
suck.
Oh my God, choke, I'm gonna spit.
Oh.
I still listen to it. It's everyone listen to it. It is funny.
Okay.
Um, But yeah, it's just hosted by two comedians. It's funny. It's hilarious. I think you would like it. I
Okay,
think
I'm
you would
sure
like it.
I would. Part of me, because I'm about to turn 45, and some of me
Nikki.
lingers in the 80s and 90s.
Mm,
Even though like part of me still living in the future times, or the present, if you will. But I don't warm to podcasts always the way I do to just
I
traditional
see.
television. I don't know why,
Gotcha.
but like certain podcasts I do. But yeah, but I'll give this
Gotcha.
one a chance. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
definitely.
they always say white, what's the word? White do crack or something, or white, what's it? People will say like Asian don't raisin, black don't
Oh yeah,
crack,
yeah,
but
yeah,
white.
yeah, yeah. Oh
You,
yeah,
you, go against the stereotype. You
you're
actually,
so sweet. You're so
girl,
sweet.
you
Thank
literally
you.
look like in your early 30s.
I love it. Bless you, because I feel like the last few years, just the political climate has just like drained the life out of me. Like I'm becoming the crypt keeper, which I love. I think the crypt keeper is an icon, and I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why people don't
Yeah,
post
we
about the
love
crypt
Crypt
keeper
Keepers.
more. Crypt keeper all the way. Tales from the crypt, best thing.
Mm,
Love it, love it.
we
Such great
um
stuff.
we are not Crypt Keeper shaming on this podcast. We love them, okay?
Thank you, thank you.
It's interesting that you say that because the last couple of years have given me life. Yeah, I'm a
Interesting.
huge Trump supporter. You didn't know
Oh, right. I forget that. Yeah, yeah. But we always, we agree to disagree, and we go on our ways. I know you.
Imagine.
I'm okay with them. We deal.
Oh my. I follow the whole
Oh,
movement, Gays for Trump. I
oh,
just
interesting.
I
Yeah,
love that picture of
yeah.
Trump holding the pride flag upside down. Lives in my mind rent free. You know exactly what picture I'm talking about.
It's been a weird couple of years. By couple, I mean like 6, 8.
It feels so short, but it feels so long. That's what she
Right.
said. But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
like I just remember being an undergrad, and that's when I was in the middle of rehearsals for this play I was in, and the election results were just like we are watching it in real time, like what color each state was turning.
Right.
And this was Hillary against Trump. And then I remember we just like learned the news that like Trump won. And then we were all so devastated. And this was back in 2016, I believe.
Yep, yep.
And which is a while ago, but it also doesn't feel like it was a while
It
ago. It feels like
doesn't.
it was just like 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It was devastating.
Also, you just reminded me of something, or I guess I
Okay.
reminded myself of something. We were talking undergrad, or we were both in undergrad at the same time because we're the same age because you're young. No, but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I remember I asked you how you got involved with research science, and you mentioned how you actually wanted to be what was it? I think you were really good at writing.
Yeah, I loved writing in high school. Yeah, and even my English teacher was like telling my mom, like, I wish you would just be an English major. I loved it. I thought it was so much fun.
You're really good at writing, and I remember when I reached out to the lab as an
Yeah, how did
undergrad,
you find out about us? I can't remember your journey to the lab.
it
Like,
was
who told you?
Deanna.
Oh,
Deanna.
yes. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So Deanna and I had met when I was just like walking through this building called the FEC, and
Okay.
it generally students study there. And it was like late at night, and I bumped into one of my friends who was like sitting with these strangers, and I was like, "Yo, Kevin, haven't seen you in forever." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm doing some homework, studying right now with some friends." And I'm like, "Hey, mind if I study with you?" He's like, "No, not at all." Turns out me and Deanna's friend Oscar, you know Oscar.
I know Oscar.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, yes.
And we
I
were
think the
all
two of them took me, side note, sorry, the two of them, I think, like out of the blue, called me on like a Sunday or something. They're like, oh my God, Heather's the musical is playing. We've got to
mm,
take you. And like, I met them down in like some East Austin little theater, and we got to see Heather's the musical together. It was so cute. So yes, I totally remember them. They're so sweet. Love them.
I'm gonna correct that story because it wasn't Oscar. It was me and Deanna who went to Heather's the Musical with you.
Oh my God, I don't know why I thought it was Oscar, but oh my
I,
God, that was so good. Wasn't that so much fun? Oh my God. So
literally, like
loved
I
it.
still have the shirt, Heather's
Oh,
the
I do
Musical
too.
shirt.
I do
I
too.
still have it. I still have the picture that we took too.
Oh my God, you have to send that to me. Sorry, but yeah, that would be adorable.
I
Loved
I
it.
wanna I wanna touch back on this Heather story because
Okay.
I feel
Yeah.
like this story I've mentioned on a previous episode, but
So yeah, so you find out about the lab and
so yeah, I met Deanna and Oscar and we studied, and then Deanna mentioned how she worked in a lab and it was a neuroscience lab, and I'm like, ooh, like I'm actually trying to get into a neuroscience lab despite being a biochemistry major. I wanted to get
right
into a
on.
neuroscience lab. And she said, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm working in this lab. We're doing amazing things. I love it. But there is one thing that I don't enjoy, and it is I don't know if I should say it on the podcast. She did not like perfusions. It's very gory,
Oh,
you know?
yes,
And so
definitely, yes, yeah.
I
And unfortunately, I hate it too. I hate it too. So yeah.
really I
Well,
don't
I have a complicated relationship with what I do. Do you know what
I
I
see.
mean? Like,
I see, yeah.
I wish we didn't have to do it, but unfortunately, I think we do. And so
Gotcha.
that's kind of why I'm in it, because I think ethical people who obey standards, regulations, and make
Mm-hmm.
sure things are done properly and with sensitivity
Yeah.
are, behind it. We don't want sociopaths doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
no, fuck that.
hands
No,
down.
no. We want
For sure.
people, yeah. So, but no, I totally get where she's coming.
I think that only made me more interested in the lab, and that sounds wrong, but I
Oh,
and so that's when I like looked into our PI's website. I
right.
read more into the research and I was like, I like this. I definitely just want to apply. And I think as an undergrad with no like I mean, I had research experience in like a lab class setting where we were being graded on that stuff, but I
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
like more hands-on training, and so I applied to
Like
the
a
lab.
real academic research lab, like
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
what you're reading about in the journals and yeah,
Exactly. And I
yeah.
really liked the research, so I applied. You reached out to me immediately, and I could just like sense your personality through the email because you're just so friendly. And do you remember how the interview went? I vividly remember it in my head.
I mean, it's probably gone the way most of my interviews go in some respects. Some have been a little more extreme than others. You may have,
Hmm.
I don't know if you had the ghost hit you in the face.
No, no,
Did
no,
you?
no. But
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about. There's like a little
Yeah.
like a zip line
Yep.
ghost thing.
I had a zip line ghost, and like there was a cycle where we had so many students,
Hmm.
and when everybody is comparable, how do you finesse it down to the number of people that you really need, to
I
make the
see.
lab thrive. And so that's when I had to implement the zipline ghost. I need to see how you're going to handle a ghost hitting you in the face. I'm just going to have to. I'm
Well,
gonna. How
you
do
know,
you react to that?
I didn't have to go through an interview like that, but I
Okay.
feel like I would have probably aced that interview anyway because I'm just
I
used to like
think you would have loved it.
I'm just used to like other things hitting my face,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? And so
I do. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Sister. Anyway.
the place that we had the interview, we're in these like rundown former apartments that were next to the lab. Are they still
Yes,
there?
yes. They are still there. We have been kicked out. It was a process,
Oh,
but we finally got kicked out and
oh,
moved over to like the main psychology building. So now we've got
oh,
like two
the
different
the
spaces
SEA?
still. Yeah, exactly. So we're there
R.
now. Still our old lab too, of course. Our main lab is still our main lab, but now our SW7 space. Yeah, and I'm sure I even told you in like the email, like you're gonna go to an apartment building that looks like yours, to the rundown building that looks like it's
Yeah.
on the corner of murder. You'll know, that's the
Yeah.
right spot. And yeah, it
It
really, yeah.
high key was very sketchy. I was like, where am I going? Is this even a
Am I
lab?
stealing your kidney?
Yeah.
Because we got the bathtub. We could have.
Hey, I mean, if you're gonna steal my kidney, at least like, are you gonna pay me? And will it pay for my
Yeah,
tuition? You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, we're doing the interview in the sketchy little
Yeah. And
room.
it was you and Evan, the graduate
Oh,
student. He
yeah.
how's he doing?
He's doing well. He has since moved on. He had to finish during COVID, which was its
Mm.
own hell in a way, but he pulled through and got his PhD, and yeah, so it's great. So it's like a whole new dynamic in the lab. I don't think you know
Oh.
anybody these days.
Oh, no,
So
no, no. I
yeah,
think well, I want to circle back on that too. But
yeah, definitely. But yeah, so Evan was in the interview. Yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah, it was you, Evan, and oh my gosh, what's his name? He's an undergrad. I thought he was low key cute at the time. He's very
right on.
nerdy. glasses, which is like everyone in science, but
Yeah, I was gonna say like
I
shit.
forgot.
Yeah,
He oh my gosh, he was I forgot his name. I forgot his name. Anyway, so
damn. Okay.
you pull out a clipboard, and on the
Yes.
clipboard is this black and white image, printed out image of a cast of a from a movie,
Yes.
and it was Heather's the
Yeah.
musical, and then you pointed at
Oh no,
the
it was actually the have there's mute
oh, no, I'm
movie. It
sorry,
was
sorry,
the
not
real
Heather's
movie,
musical.
the
I'm sorry. It
original.
was Heather's
Yeah, yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah. The original, yes, which is a childhood favorite. Like it, that is my
Yeah.
formative years. Yeah. So
And then you pointed at the actress who plays I forgot her name, but she's the one who wears the red um who's there's like three Heathers girls, green, red, and yellow, I think.
yes, and I think you're thinking of the green, but she becomes red at the end. Are you thinking of Shannon Doherty?
I don't remember who, but you pointed at one of the chicks and you're like, "Do you know who she is?" And I was
Okay.
like, "No." And you're like, "She's a bitch." And I was like,
Yeah,
I
Shannon Doherty. Love her. Love her. Yes.
and then you said something like, "Oh, she's a bitch in real life and in the movie." And I was like, "Ah, so no acting was required." And that made you laugh.
Yes, it
And
did.
I think I got like hired on the spot. And
Yeah, I think, yeah, we just had a good connection and I knew you would fit in well with the lab and could roll with it. And why waste your time? Why waste my time wondering and hee hawing? Yeah, let's just get it done and get you in the lab and get all the necessary work out of the way.
that the whole lab environment, the lab dynamic was so fun.
While still being highly productive. You know what
Yes,
I mean?
yes,
Like
yes,
you can have fun and be social and crank out great work. You
for
don't have to
sure.
be rigid and, you know, manage from a place of fear. I hate that shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Ooh,
want fear to ever enter. I
yeah.
never want people like worried and nervous and feeling sick about coming to the lab.
Mm,
Like if it's a personal thing and you're just not feeling it, I get that. But I never want the lab to be the reason you're like dreading coming.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make a good work environment.
I feel like you've been reading my mind or something because literally everything you just mentioned happened in the next lab that I
Oh
entered after.
shit. After you
Yeah, so
left.
yeah.
You
So
are not the first person to tell me like, oh God, I left the lab and
mm-hmm.
entered the real world, and the real world is not that good sometimes. It sucks.
I think the difference is that I'm trying to how do I finesse this without mentioning any school names? But
Right, right.
the what I notice is that a lot of labs that are part of an undergraduate institution are more
Mm-hmm.
lenient because the professors, everyone are just having to work with undergraduate students, and there's just more
Right.
patience. Everyone is more patient is willing to teach, whereas institutions that are part of like medical schools or
Right. Don't have that academic aspect to them as much. And
they're just more strict. I wouldn't maybe more impatient, and they just expect so much out of you.
right
But
on. Yes.
maybe at the same time, there's just like a lot of pressure for that institution to perform very well, and they're getting all this grant money, and um, there's
But
a
the same goes with the art institution too. We're getting
true, yeah,
grant money. We have, pressure
yeah,
to perform, but still, you know, we know who we're dealing with, and you can
hmm
find ways to work around that and still thrive and get,
yeah.
quality work out of it.
Oh, for
Like
sure, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. And I, it was a terrible lab. Anyway, so
I'm
I
so
remember just
sorry.
like
So yeah.
I just remember like bonding with a lot of the other researchers in my lab who came
Hmm.
from a similar like undergraduate institution lab. They were like, "Yeah, my undergrad
Right.
lab was just so fun. Like we were bonding everyone was just having a good time and all the connections were just so organic." And I
Yeah.
got a burp real quick.
Oh, do it. Do it.
Ooh. And people were just like organically wanting to hang out outside a lab, which is a complete opposite dynamic from
Right.
that lab. And
Right, because people genuinely enjoy, when we would have happy hours, hanging out with,
yeah.
from the PI down to, the undergrad, we're all, just being silly, talking about science, talking
Mm-hmm.
about, academia, next steps and just fun stuff. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that doesn't always happen.
You know, when I met Oscar in undergrad,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't really close with him.
Okay.
I had known him through Deanna,
Right
and
on.
we didn't really have a lot of like overlapping. We'd never had any overlapping classes. I only met Oscar or saw Oscar in the lab, and then after we graduated, we just kind of went our own separate ways. But then a couple months of me working in my previous lab,
Right on.
I found out that Oscar was attending a school in that area. So we found out that we are like physically close. And so we actually started hanging out more. And now like he's one of my like good, close best friends.
Oh,
I
please tell him hi.
know.
Please tell him hi. Love Oscar. He did such great work in the lab. We had such a good time. He had
He's
one independent project,
yeah.
flourished. He in Dallas. I love the little friendships that the Jones Lab makes. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like,
Being in that lab was so euphoric. It was just I loved the research and I just loved the connections that I made with everyone. When I think of like undergrad life, I would say that you're like a huge prominent person that helped
aw,
shape me. It made the whole undergraduate experience fun. When people say like, "Oh my
oh,
gosh, like college was like the golden days. You're gonna have so much fun." Like you were a huge influence. So
oh,
what I'm
thank
saying is,
you.
you're an influencer. You should be an
Oh my
influencer. That's what
God.
I'm saying.
I would love that. Oh my God. I want my cats to be influencers though. I would love to see my cats on cat food bags,
You
litter,
should make.
calendars.
Do you have a cat TikTok or cat Instagram page?
I don't. Maybe you need to help me. I have a friend locally too that could help me. Maybe I should start. I've kind of got an idea for my one cat's like maybe social media name. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want him to be called FKA Phil Collins because his like shelter name was Phil Collins. I'm like, what the fuck? So
Hold.
I just think that would be cute. So
Okay, it's funny you mentioned that because I recently, well, not recently, but like about 6, 7 months ago, I adopted a dog, and
oh,
his his name at the animal shelter was Lester,
oh cute.
and yeah, well,
Well, yeah.
yeah, and I was like, I don't think Lester sounds like an appropriate dog name. It just sounds like an old man name. Why does it sound like an old man name? Oh, you know who I'm thinking of? Oh, rest in peace,
What?
bless his soul,
Uh-oh.
Leslie Jordan. That's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I miss him. I,
I'm devastated when that was announced.
one of my favorite memes videos from him was how does it go? Well, shit. Uh, that,
Yes.
well, shit. What you doing there? Something like that. Or I'm about to bust. Literally,
I love it.
those are my favorite meme videos from him. But yeah,
Yeah.
my dog, I renamed my dog Helix. But
Oh, cute.
my partner, my boyfriend, I
Oh,
know,
yay.
but you
Oh,
know,
I love it.
my boyfriend, he wanted me to name him either Mo, first
Okay.
name Mo, last name Lester, and I'm like, come on, no,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
or Adam, ATOM, and I'm like, no, it sounds like ADAM, and I don't like human names. I don't like giving dogs human names. And
Okay.
he's
No,
like,
I
what
get
about?
it.
And so anyway, named him Helix. But what I was gonna say is that I have been single for the longest time.
Right on.
I think my last relationship before my current boyfriend was back in 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild
It's
ride.
it I bet it's a transition for you then,
Yeah.
thinking about somebody else versus
Oh
just
yeah.
being able to go with the flow and enjoy the
It's
moment.
scary.
And
Yeah, it's scary. What about you? How any relationships recently?
no, no buddy at the moment, and that's okay. I'm more of a buddy system person than a
Oh, I
relationship
know.
person. You know that,
Yeah,
yes.
I
I even
do
had an
know.
old undergrad that she was hysterical. Elena, I swear it was Elena. Shout out to Elena if she ever
Yeah,
hears this.
you were
But
living with her, right?
no, I wasn't living with
Oh, never
her.
mind.
She was just an undergrad, but
Oh,
she
never
was
mind.
always up. she always wanted me to just find a husband. You know what I mean? And she would always
Oh,
just like joke about it.
uh-huh.
And she finally would like buy me like little books as like, a joke to get me married off. And I'm like, Elena, that's just not how I operate. I just not. No,
I
no.
miss the stories that you would tell us. And can I
Oh,
can I
oh
talk
my
about
God.
them or no?
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we might have to edit these out. I do want to keep my job,
Yeah.
because it's
The
just, dairy and things have changed so much from like,
uh,
I was born in 77 and the way we operated in the 90s, we just don't operate that way anymore.
you had like an exterminator friend who you said
I
looked like
did.
who looked like Jared Leto, right?
Oh, no. Okay, you're confusing two people,
Oh,
actually.
ooh,
Yeah, they
okay.
were two different people. Yes. But I did have an exterminator friend, and I met him actually, like how you always say, I'm very real and unfiltered. So
Mm-hmm.
the night before, I'd gone out with like two undergrads to like oil cans or
Yeah.
something,
Mm-hmm.
and had a really long night. And I don't drink, but I always stay up late, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
just keep that out of it. So anyway, forgot that I had the exterminator coming over.
Uh-huh.
And so just, threw on my robe that looks like I've just skinned a Muppet. It's so tattered and disgusting, and I'm just like, makeup from, probably like glitter and shit all over my face,
Yeah.
hair a mess. And I
What if
just
he's like
opened
into
the,
like what if he's like into like a Muppet like kink, and he was
he
like
might have,
and he's like
exactly. He might
today's
have been.
today's my lucky day. Today's my
Yep.
lucky day.
Yep. Exactly. It was his lucky day because I was just real with him and we talked and we ended up exchanging numbers
Mm-hmm.
and he was very okay with the way I operated, which is, I just don't want a real relationship. You
Uh-huh.
know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really bad. Like I enjoy straight men, but if I have the chance to hang out with a gay man, I'm sorry. I'm just going to drop the straight man for the gay man. And I know people
Mm-hmm.
are going to be like, what the fuck? That doesn't benefit you, but I just prefer hanging out with gay men. So, you know what I
You
mean? So I just, yeah.
you taught me this interesting term, and it was the first time I ever heard of it, but now I'm like, okay, it's actually a very common word. Fag hag. That's what you called
Yes.
yourself.
Yes. Or the more, maybe, I don't know if it's more politically correct, fruit fly. You could call people fruit flies instead. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Fruit flies is
I've
another
never
term.
heard of that.
I think a lot of my friends called me a fruit fly because, I'm kind of, tiny and petite and I flutter around because I'm energetic. But I
That
think it's a
is
common term. Yeah.
fruit fly. That is smart. Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, fag hag was definitely a big term, like, growing up when I was a
Mm.
teenager and stuff. So yeah.
I was talking to some of my gay friends, including Oscar, and I think
Right
we
on.
were talking about like, are we okay with the word fag hag?
I
And
don't know if your generation is. Yeah, I don't
I,
know.
I personally myself and our friend group, we're okay with it. We're okay with it. But then
Okay.
again, we always call each other faggots. But
Right
it's
on.
it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
weird where it's like gay people we can call each other faggot, but
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
if a straight person calls us fat, it's like, oh no, no, like you you
Right
crossed
on.
that boundary.
Right. Right. Yeah. And where I grew up, there were times like I would say growing up, and some years I had more gay men as friends than even straight people. It was
Mm-hmm.
just that environment, even though it was the rural Midwest, and
Yeah.
so I would be sometimes the only, female at a party, let
Mm-hmm.
alone the only heterosexual. So I was just, always around the lingo and,
Uh-huh.
just kind of an honorary gay boy, growing up. So it was just a thing.
I remember our lab, we had a lot of gay men in our lab.
Geez, I wonder why. No, I'm kidding. I let straight people in too. I let Christians in. I let them all in. So.
It's like like
But yeah, I
thinking
mean,
back on my interview, it's like the reason why I got in was because I was gay. It's
let's be
like
real. I mean,
no,
that's why I didn't even have to think about. Let's just live in there. And see, this is like the powers that be are gonna try to get me fired now because I'm like, you know, but in my defense, like I don't think there's. I mean, I think you can still discriminate against people, right?
hmm
Sexually, it's just I just no, I don't discriminate against
Yeah,
heterosexuals. They're great.
yeah.
I'm heterosexual, so it's fine. I get it's a lifestyle.
I'm actually
I didn't choose it.
heterophobic. Did you know that?
I get it.
I
Girl, I get it. Girl.
I get I get scared of straight people. I'm so terrified. Like, I know Halloween passed, but Nikki, you're scaring me right now. Stop it.
Breeders. Oh,
Oh my,
I'm not a breeder though, so
I I love using the word breeders as a derogatory term. I love it
I
so
love it. I
much.
love it. I love it as even like a term of endearment. I just love breeder. I think it's a great term. Yeah. Should be
It's
used more.
oh yeah, hands down. Okay, now let's go back to your friend who looks like Jared Leto. I remember you talked a lot about him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes. Very sweet guy. Yes,
How are you
yes.
and
We are
him?
not hang. I well, we are not hanging out at the moment, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm hoping he's doing well for himself because I think he is ready for a relationship, and that's
Mm.
good for him. And I want him to follow that path. That's yeah. So
Uh,
but great guy, super awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I know if
yeah.
I was in a jam and I reached out to him, he would be there
Oh,
for me because we have a friendship. You know what I mean? Like,
I see, I
I
see.
appreciate, I value friendships, I think, more than romantic relationships.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's more important to me in
We
my
love
life.
that.
So, yeah,
We
yeah,
love that.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, very attractive. It was, and I met him through a gay man too, of course. I and he knows this. I went out one night. That's how I met him. I went out one
Yeah.
night because I was upset that my friend, who was kind of closeted but
Mm-hmm.
somewhat out,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really trying to meet people that were available to him. And I get it. You know what? I
Mm,
do it too. It's so easy to fall for somebody that's unavailable, especially,
mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Because if you're scared of a relationship, like those are the perfect people to pine over, the people you'll never have a chance with,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
that keep you single. So I get it. But I was just like, God damn it, I'm hearing you bitch about this shit. So
Uh-huh.
let's try and find somebody that will actually match up with what you want.
Oh, this
And so
is
I go out with him,
yeah.
trying to get him to go to the gay bars, but of course we end up hanging out with these straight people all night because he kind of is crushing on this one guy in particular, even though they're just
Yeah. I
friends, and
remember
then
this
it's
story's
not going to
coming back to
happen
me.
you
Yeah.
know and so all of a sudden it's the end of the night, and one of our graduate students at the time was out with us too. And I hadn't even talked to this kid, and we all of a sudden are going home, and I hop in the car in the back seat, my friend, the graduate students in the front seat with my closeted friend.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the boy pops in, and he's in the back seat talking
Uh-huh.
to us, and I'm like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
this is weird. And all of a sudden, and my friend's like, oh yeah, we're taking him to his car too, and he might come back and hang out with us at our houses,
Yeah.
because he was my neighbor, my friend was my neighbor.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wait, what? I don't know this.
Uh-huh.
And so the front, this guy is getting very flirty with me, and I'm just like, I don't like this. My friend, my neighbor, is kind of pining over this guy. I've been in this situation before with
Yeah.
gay men where, they like a straight guy. The straight guy's
Mm,
putting the moves on me.
mm-hmm.
And, what do you do? Because they don't have a fucking chance in hell with this guy. So why can't I have the dick? But you can't go after the dick. I've learned this. You gotta leave it alone.
Uh,
So I'm flipping the fuck out,
uh-huh.
and so then we go back to the houses. Like all of a sudden the guy's like following us in his car to hang out with us. I
Yeah.
didn't even know we were fucking hanging out, and so, and of course I slept with him. So, and so then it kind of, it became a little bit of a problem
Yeah.
because I think he thought it might have been a one night situation, which
Mm.
turned into a multi-year situation.
The way that
So
I see it is that you're doing your gay friend a favor. You're like kind of
that's what
testing
I thought
you were
too.
testing him out before, you were trying to see if he's the one, for
Right.
your
Or
your 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 friend, you know. That's the way
exactly.
yeah, that's the way that I see
Yeah.
it.
And I've had the same benefit too. There's been gay guys that I've just been like, oh my God, I'm so gaga over them. And I've had,
Uh-huh.
my gay friends fuck them. And, and I'm not jealous. I'm like, yeah, tell me. I love it. So, proud and happy. So,
One thing
yeah.
that I love about like gay men and like women who like hang out or just like people who hang out with like a lot of gay men, we're so open with um like our sex stories and just it's not
Yes.
like taboo. It's just we're so
Right,
open, and sometimes we don't think too much about it. It's just like whatever. And there's no
right,
like
right,
feelings
right.
attached. So you know what I mean? Like
Exactly, exactly.
I want to say that a lot of these conversations, a lot of the stuff we learned at bars outside of,
Because we
you know,
developed a friendship in the lab, and it led,
yeah.
and that can be weird sometimes too, because you can have friendships and then you have to come back to the lab and that person's your manager, and how do you
Mm-hmm.
separate those things? But I think we always had a healthy
Yeah.
way,
Oh
between
yeah.
us, like, here's work, outside of work, and and that goes along with like constructive criticism,
Oh
things,
yeah, hands
mess
down.
ups, things like, I think we had a great, like, oh, here's a fuck up that happened to the lab, but it's not an attack on you as a person, and
Yeah.
that doesn't impact our friendship and the way we interact. And
Oh,
yeah.
you just reminded me of something. I remember I was working under Evan,
Okay.
and I was doing like a lot of behavioral assays. And after those assays, I had to collect their brain tissue. At the same time, there
Yes.
was another undergraduate student who just joined the lab, and I was giving her a tour of where we store the rats.
Oh,
And
right, right. Yeah.
um and just being a male, I'm bad at multitasking. Women, actually, this might be debunked. I might be spreading misinformation by saying this,
Right on.
but I read a study that might be a little outdated or old, that men are not good at multitasking compared to women. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah.
I was giving her a tour, but also while I was in the rat room, I tried to grab a cage. I grabbed a cage, getting ready to sack it and collect tissue. And then after I gave her the tour, I continued, injected Euthasol. Is it called Euthasol or
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Euthasol?
It comes to, yeah, there's several brand names, but yeah, youth is all.
And then did my perfusion, blah blah blah. And then Evan comes in. He's like, "Hey Darian, I think you grabbed the wrong rat."
Oh,
Do you
yes.
remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I do remember that. I remember. Yep.
That
You did.
I just remember feeling so bad. I started crying. Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember
It
that.
was,
Oh, but I get that reaction. Yeah, yeah, that's just a human reaction,
and it
so.
wasn't it wasn't because like anyone was mad at me or like yelling at
Oh,
me.
no.
No, no, no. It was more like it was just I felt bad, for even doing it.
Right.
So that's why. And
And I think the lab attracts the type of people who punish themselves more than, what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Eh,
it's an internal punishment. Like, even when
yeah.
people tell you it's okay, you're still gonna, like, oh fuck, and like be upset with yourself and internalize that, and
Everyone
yeah.
was
So
so supportive, and they're like, even you're like, oh, it's okay, Darian. But for me, I was like, oh my God, like I just like, spent so long like doing this behavioral essay, and I just like killed the wrong blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
And
no,
I'm just
no, I
I'm
don't,
like
and
doing this perfusion crying. Like my tears, like I don't need to inject PBS anymore because my tears are the PBS
it,
for the
exactly.
rat.
Yeah, yeah, you can just rinse with your tears, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And
But
I'm
that
sure Teresa had kind words, and yeah, I'm sure
oh
everybody was
yeah.
like, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, yeah. It just, I'm sure we busted your balls later too, because we're
Yeah.
always going to crack jokes because
It
we're
was it
dicks
was
like
one of
that.
those
But
things where like afterwards we were just like, remember that time when you like euthanized the wrong rat? And I was like, oh, I told you, bring back traumatized PTSD.
exactly, yes. But we always try and find the humor in things.
Do you remember one day? I think we had to change leave a message after the tone
Oh,
message on,
yes.
and then I forgot why, but you asked me to do it for the lab, and I was like, okay.
Yep.
So I said it was like, hi, you reached the blank blank lab. Please leave a message right after the beep. And I called a couple years ago just to see if it was still there, and it was, but I haven't called recently. Is it still
I
there?
think it might still. I think it might still be there. Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah. I think it's still. Yeah, I think it
Over
is.
like literally, it's like my voice was so high back then. It's like slowly gotten lower in the past couple years. But like it's like, hi, you reached a blah blah lab. Please leave a message. In fact,
Awesome.
I'm gonna put the lab phone number in the description to this episode so everyone
Yeah.
can listen to it, okay?
Oh, that'll be great. I can't wait to get rings constantly.
It's like every 5 minutes, like, who the fuck is calling this lab? What do you want?
No,
It's like,
yes,
we're just trying
exactly.
to we're just trying to listen to the voicemail, the voice message. How's the lab now? What's the lab environment like? The
It's
dynamic?
it's good. It's different. It's post COVID, and we're just,
Mm,
I still feel like we're getting back into the swing of things.
yeah.
We have one postdoc and two graduate students. One
Mm.
graduate student you would probably know, Michaela. Do you remember Michaela? Maybe not. Or Italian? Did you
Wait, yeah,
go?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, garden.
Michaela.
Yes,
She's still
yes,
there?
yes. She's still there.
I
Yeah, she's still with
fucking
us.
love Michaela. In fact,
Yeah.
the last time that I hung out with her was with you. We went to the mall, remember?
Oh yes, yes, yes. Did we
And
even
then
when she went with us one night to Oil Cans, I think, to see somebody too. I
I
swear.
think so. Do you
Yeah.
remember when? Okay, so Michaela is our Italian grad student. Now
Yes.
you said she's a
Yes.
postdoc now?
No, she's still a graduate student. So
I see, I see.
she was in her program in Italy. I think it
Mm-hmm.
required her to come to America to do like a stint with research. So
Yeah.
that's why she had been in and out of the lab. But now she's officially a graduate student and
Oh, yay.
officially part of the lab. So yeah, but just
Oh, so
beginning. You know what I mean? Now, like
yeah,
officially,
yeah.
it's our baby graduate student. Yeah.
And we were trying to go out for like a lab dinner just to welcome
Yes.
her to America. So we're like, do you
Yep.
want barbecue? Do you want Tex-Mex? And she said, well, I heard of like this really good restaurant that I want to try called Olive Garden.
No, I think it was me that kind of instigated that with her because I have an Olive Garden obsession.
Um,
And actually, one of the there was an undergrad in the lab. She really wasn't an undergrad; she was a volunteer. But her name was Morgan. She helped me secure a pasta pass one year, and that
what's a
was
pasta
phenomenal.
pass?
I actually the pasta pass was when, like, for I think it was like maybe 4 to 6 weeks. If you had the stupid pasta pass, you could go to the Olive Garden at any time of the day and get as much fucking like pasta and breadsticks and salad as
You
you
two go
wanted,
it?
and you didn't have to pay. I would go all the time. Like
Yeah.
I would get like leftovers and take it to homeless people. I would bring it to the
Bless your
lab
soul.
for undergrads. You know what I mean? I got my money's
Nikki,
worth out of that
I
pasta
love
pass.
you. I love you for that.
I just it's I'm not saying the Olive Garden is quality food,
Oh no,
but
yeah.
no matter where I go, it's going to taste pretty much the same. And I like breadsticks. I'm a simple person. I like breadsticks.
Mm-hmm.
The salad
You and me
dressing
both.
makes my brain zing. I don't know. You know what I mean?
You know
Whatever
they
factory
sell the
created
salad
it.
dressing at
Oh, girl,
Costco.
I got it. I've got it. They sell it everywhere. They sell it everywhere. They've sold it for many, many years. I'm a connoisseur of the Olive Garden salad
Oh,
dressing. So, yeah. Yeah,
I know
I'm pathetic. I'm
you're
trash.
like
I'm
Darren.
white
I'm
trash.
fucking offended that Of course I have it, Darian. I have all the salad dressings from Olive Garden in my pantry.
Exactly. They have a vinaigrette, I think. But yeah, we went to the Olive Garden. Yeah,
And then we took a really nice picture. The not
the
the
last
la-
breadstick.
the
I think we called it
no
right.
no
Did we
no
call it the
close
last?
close.
Oh,
Oh, so not the Last Supper, but the Lab Supper. Remember
oh
that?
yes, it was the
I still have
Lab
that
Supper.
photo.
I think I wanted to call it the last breadstick, but I think the Lab Supper was also. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. That's what it was.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I remember at the time there was Taylor. She's a postdoc now, right?
Um, I'm not sure exactly what she's doing at the moment. She did
Mhm.
postdoc at some point, but that was, I mean, she's been out of the lab for years now. It's crazy. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then Evan actually reached out to me like years ago,
Right on.
randomly out of the blue. He was like, "Hey, you're on the front page of Reddit, by the way." And I was like,
Oh my God,
"What?"
you've been on the front page of Reddit? That's so
Something like that.
exciting.
I don't use Reddit, so I don't understand the ecosystem of
I'm a
Reddit, if you
Reddit
will.
person.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. My
Uh,
friends make fun of me because like I really am not a social media person. I
yeah.
treat Instagram as like a dimension diary, so I remember which bands I've seen, you know what I mean? Because I'm
Yeah.
gonna forget.
It's kind of like a
But
Finsta. That's
yeah,
what it is. For you, Instagram is like a Finsta. Do you know what a Finsta is?
I do. That's like a fake Instagram account,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah,
I'm telling you,
kind of.
you're
But
you're like literally like my generation. Like you're
yeah,
you're literally like my age. We're both the same age.
you're so sweet. I think it's because I don't forget what it's like to be a certain age. I think some
Mm-hmm.
people, as they age, they forget who they were at that age. Like
Mm-hmm.
in previous decades, and it's like you have to cut people slack and remember what stage they are in their
Yeah.
development. Brain wise, society wise, whatever.
For
So
sure, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So
Oh yeah, so going back to you, you only use Instagram for like
For
your
like just to, yeah, like maybe a cat picture here and there, but mainly just to, I see so many bands, or I used to see so many bands that it was just
yeah.
a good way to remember, like, oh my God, I saw that band, or
Hmm.
what was the name of that band, shit like that. But I like Reddit and Twitter. I know I'm those people. I don't know
Twitter.
what that makes me.
Ooh, Twitter.
Oh,
Have you
it's
been catching up
crazy
with the
right now.
whole the
Did
check
you see
mark?
the tweet? Yes, the one from Tesla, like the one that's like,
Yes.
wait, that one that a second Tesla has hit the twin towers.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Dying,
Twitter is a shit
dying.
show right now.
It is amazing, and I'm loving it. It's interesting. Yeah,
It's
it's weird times.
yeah, it's a bit ironic where Elon Musk bought Twitter so that, free speech, we can say whatever we want. But if you're gonna impersonate someone, make sure that you write it in your Twitter bio. And you can't impersonate me, or else I'll suspend you. It's like,
Right? Yeah.
is it really free speech then, or is it the speech that you wanted to say before that you couldn't say, and now you can say it, but now that people are actually using it to their advantage, you want to strip it from them.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 People are always
Mm.
conflating free speech with things that are corporate, like
Oh yeah.
corporate and and government. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy. Who would have thunk that you need some regulations on a social media platform? Like,
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's crazy where like you can get verified, not verified. You can get the blue check mark, but also to distinguish people who bought their check marks and those who like actually received it, from who had it before.
Right, like a real journalist or an author
Yeah,
versus
there's
yeah.
like an actual title underneath the name that says like official, like actual. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure
anyway.
by the time this airs, there's going to be a completely different system.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Who knows?
Oh
Because
yeah.
I don't know when this is going to air, but everything's changing in like days. So who the fuck knows what it's going to be like in like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
We're aiming for early December. So, future
Okay.
editing Darian, make sure this episode is published in early December. Nikki, it was so great catching up with you, and like really just talking with you brings me back to like my undergrad self.
It's so good. I love catching up with former undergrads, former lab people. It's just, it's a fun time in your life, and I love
Hmm.
being a part of it. And
It's like one of those
you know,
shows of like, where are they now? Do you have any advice for our listeners?
ooh, good question. Good question. This is like when I ask people that, besides the Heather's question, I always ask people, what three music artists do you want for your festival, like as your headliners? That's one of my
Ooh,
big.
wait. So
Can't
how
remember
do
if I
you?
asked you that.
I don't recall. I don't think so.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe
I
we
would.
were so far done with the interview that I didn't even have time. But
I
yeah,
think it was more like you liked me so much, and you're like, fuck, he's in.
I
I
don't
don't need
even
to
know
ask any more questions.
exactly.
But
Yeah,
you're
kids
in, dude.
in. Yeah, exactly.
So how do you judge someone based on their artist selection? Like,
I really don't, because especially now, maybe teenage Nikki in the 90s
hmm.
would have been very judgmental. I was a judgmental, hipster cunt in the
Yeah.
90s. But as I've aged, I feel like I'm just like, let people enjoy the content they like, as long as it's not hurting anyone.
Hmm.
If you want to listen to Maroon 5, even though I find it
Mm.
utterly repulsive, I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Whatever,
You know
go
what's
go on. But I like hearing what people are interested in. I try and stay current with music, more indie rock versus maybe pop
hmm.
culture, but it's always fun to hear what people are listening to these days.
Yeah, I can't take the song Girls Like You by Maroon 5 seriously anymore. It just doesn't mean
Oh
anything to
my
me.
god. Oh,
Cause
I
girls
forgot, because it's
like
this
you,
little, yeah.
like really, which girls? Who
Yeah,
girls?
exactly. Exactly. Oh, that was just a shit show. And I know I'll go back to your question, your
Oh
original
yeah. So
question,
boop,
but
boop, boop, beep,
what's
beep, boop, boop, boop.
crazy? Yeah. Um, but yeah, I would say just please try and find the humor in life. I know it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's dark gallows humor, sometimes you just
Mm-hmm.
have to laugh, because laughter kind of helps you get through the darkness and move
For
forward. So, so important, that
that,
little chuckle can really.
I highly agree with you on that. That's I won't dive too much into this. That is how and why my, I guess, social media platform, that's how it started. Came from a
Oh,
place of
interesting.
stress. It came
Right
from a
on.
place of misery. and
Yep.
a lot of my humor can be perceived as self-deprecating.
I love self-deprecating humor.
Love
Yes,
it. Yeah,
love it, love it. I hate
so
it when people like judge you for it. It's like, bitch, I know I'm awesome,
yeah,
but can I just
exactly.
talk about my faults too? Like, I don't think I'm
Yes.
fucking perfect, you know? Like, I can have high self-esteem, but admit that sometimes I'm a lazy, apathetic bitch.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, yeah, but like
Yes.
some people just don't appreciate self-deprecating humor. But I'm
Yeah.
very much, if you can't laugh at yourself, how are you going to laugh at
Hey,
other people? You know,
okay, come on,
to
RuPaul. If you can't
paraphrase
laugh at
Mama
yourself, how the hell
Rose.
you gonna laugh at somebody else? Can I get an amen over here?
Exactly.
Well, Nikki, this
Oh,
was so fun. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. I'm sure you're supposed to be in lab or something. And
yes, yes. You know, we got to get the SFN people out the door. You know, I
oh,
got
oh
to get
yeah.
back. Yeah, 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 yeah. But
I
no, we're going to do it. It's going to be great. Have a lab meeting to go to in a little bit. It's going to be phenomenal.
if I'm ever visiting campus, I would love to meet up with you in person
Oh
and
my
chill
God,
and
we
hang out.
could. That would be awesome. And Teresa would love to see you. The lab would love to meet you. The current lab would love to meet you. Like, yeah, yeah. We have, you know, former lab people come all the time and pop in and, you know, hang out with the current lab. And it's just so much fun, you know. And it's
Uh-huh.
crazy how we even like, we had two former undergrads who didn't know each other. They both wind up in grad school in Dallas, find out they were both former undergrads in the Jones lab, end up becoming roommates, living together until like they each married their respective girlfriends. And
Yeah.
it was crazy. So it's like the bonding, you know. You never know who you're going to meet. So with the
Whoa.
Jones Lab person. So yeah.
That is amazing.
But yes, please, and if you can be in our area, second Tuesday of the month
Oh,
now is a good time. So keep that in mind. Second Tuesday of the month. So
oh, okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay. I
yeah.
love that the
Well,
tradition is still going on. I
it's
love
still
that.
going. You know, I haven't nobody in the lab. It's more, it's basically, you know, mainly just my friends. You know, my
Mm.
outside lab friends that are going right now. But you know, we'd love to have you and catch up. And yeah, Ginny would just, you know, just yeah. So yeah.
Ah, Nikki,
Uh,
I love you so much. I really
Kieran,
love
I love
you.
you too. I'm so glad you're flourishing, and it's so great to see you doing
You
this. And yeah,
too.
oh my God.
Alrighty. Thank you everyone for listening. And everyone, I hope you have a great day.
Yes, please, and vote in local elections. Bye.
Well, I think at this point it's gonna be late.
Well, you know what? If you're not registered now, get registered for the next
Yes,
one.
bitch. Do
Because
it.
there's always something to vote on, bitches. All
Alrighty,
right,
bye
bye.
y'all.